Before we can leave to travel full time, we have to get this house ready to be rented. So today, you and I and you, we are going to be going through probably one of the more difficult rooms in this house, the garage. And while we go through the garage, we're going to chit chat about downsizing for full time travel and how to decide what to keep and what to get rid of and what to save, and basically what we will be doing. And maybe you can take some tips along the way. So I can't say this is going to be fun, but it's going to be something. Let's do it. Christian and I have been tackling a majority of this house together, but the honest truth is like 75–80% of the stuff in this house was mine from before we even met. And the problem with that is it's pretty difficult for someone else to go through and declutter your things, especially if they're things that you got before you met them. And that's where we come into the issue with the garage, okay? If you were a follower of the channel, I know like half of y'all were here from the way back, and that is when I did DIY content, furniture flipping, home renovations, okay? So I have collected this amass of tools and supplies and furniture from my days doing DIY content. And that's why I thought this would be the perfect kind of room to go through. I mean, I guess it's a garage called a room. Perfect room to go through with you guys, because for the most part, like, this is stuff that I need to make personal decisions on. You know, I've got some supplies that cost more money, some that cost less. And the hard part for me is the back and forth between deciding, is this worth saving or is this worth getting rid of? Whenever you're watching videos of digital nomads and travelers and people that left everything to go and travel, you don't always get to see the behind the scenes. And that's what I was looking up whenever we were making this decision. I wanted to see people that were in this situation where they maybe moved into a home that they expected to be in long-term, full-time for like the next decade. You know, we have our stuff in this house like we were planning on being here for the next decade. So going from that to not sure when we're going to be necessarily back and living here again is definitely a mind shift and obviously a clutter shift. So from the jump, I hope this video helps you guys as much as it helps me, because for one, I get to go through this stuff and I have company. And for two, you can see the things that kind of have to happen before you get to experience all of the fun and traveling and exploration and things like that. So the reason we're doing the garage today is because, as you saw in the last video, there should be a card somewhere. Watch that video. As you saw in the last video, we're getting our home ready to rent out. We would like to rent it out furnished, but that still means that our personal belongings need to skedaddle. And as far as like photos and listings, we need to get most of the stuff out of the house. So everything for now needs to at least come into the garage, which means that the garage needs to not have this stuff in it. Do I sound stressed? I hope not, because this is going to be great. I don't even know where to start. I think what I'm going to do is we're going to get some bins, get some storage things, get this section of the garage organized, and then move on. And you might be thinking, wow, your garage is so packed. But I always had room to put a car in it. That was important to me, that a car goes in the garage. So we're standing in the car part. But let's get some storage bins and try and figure out a method to this madness. So this isn't something that happened randomly. You know, it wasn't a spontaneous decision. For the first 6 months while we were traveling, we really went back and forth on what the best course of action was. You know, we knew that we really enjoyed what we were doing, and we also knew that we had a home full of stuff that was kind of waiting for us. And on one hand, you know, our friends and our family were able to fly back and see friends and family and, you know, meet anywhere in the world. But it really felt like the stuff was the thing that was like keeping us planted and holding us down. And I saw this quote over and over again about decluttering that was, you own your stuff, don't let your stuff own you. And that's what this was starting to feel like. We had so much stuff that it was beginning to dictate our decisions, and I would make my decisions based off of the things that we had. And so maybe this is not step one for other people, but for me, my step one was getting really into the anti-consumerism, what is it called when you consume less? The anti-consumerism, the de-influencing, that whole movement, the underconsumption movement. Because for me, that was what kind of helped me see that I have a lot. I don't need any more. And the more things that I have that I don't need, the more mental effort and physical effort I have to put into my stuff. Things need to be cleaned, they need to be stored. The more things I have in my space, the more things I keep in my mind. And so I felt like that was already exhausting enough. And then while we were abroad, when you're away from your stuff, you feel like and this is for people that have too much stuff, like I do. Not everyone feels this way, but when you're away from your too much stuff, your overabundance of stuff, you feel like you can breathe again. All of my clothes options were in my suitcase. If I had like one pair of pliers and one screwdriver to fix some little things that I had, like sunglasses and a bracelet. And that was truly it. And of course, in a house, you will need a few more things, but not this, okay? So the step one, I guess, while we're out here would be to remove the emotional attachment to these items. I have a PVC pipe wrapped in masking tape. I actually have a lot of questions about this, but maybe a quarter of this stuff are things like this, scrap pieces of wood, scrap pieces of whatever that I'm holding on to for maybe, when really it's just cluttering my space and my brain. I'm kind of pacing right now because I just don't know where to start. I think I just, like the things in here, I know where they are, right? If I'm looking for something, I know where it is and I can find it. But I guess the issue is I don't know how to declutter because there's also things that aren't stored together. You know, I have paint here, paint there. I have tools. And the mentality that we've been using in the rest of the house is, I mean, you know what? We can give things names. We're going to call it the 5-year rule. Okay. If I came back in 5 years, would I want this specific item? Or even if I had this item, would I want to go and buy a new one? And for me, especially in the closet, that was a really big help. Like a lot of clothes, if I didn't touch them for 5 years, I probably, at least some of the clothes I have now, I'm like, I probably wouldn't want to wear them. And so I'm looking around and I have like these gloves specifically, I would say would pass, but I have 10 other pairs of gloves that I probably wouldn't want. But these are significantly older than 5 years and I will be using them. So first, let's break the stuff into categories. I do have a list of things I want to chat with y'all about, so it's not going to be super outrageous, but I did need y'all's company in doing this, okay? I didn't want to do this by myself. And we have our bins. I think I might use that to categorize, and then the trash can and trash bags. So I think it's time we just start pulling things out of the garage, putting them into piles, and going from there. Okay, let's start. I have my headphones in. It looks like we're just gonna have to get started somewhere and get to moving. Hopefully when I get started, it'll be easier. But right now, this seems like it's gonna be a lot harder than I expected it to be. So let's find a jammy jam. I'm a big fan of my Spotify day list. We'll do some Noah Khan. Okay, off we go. In preparing for this giant mission, I've been watching a lot of decluttering videos, and one of the mantras that I picked up that I have been kind of replaying in my head is to be okay with getting rid of perfectly good items. Because for me, sometimes getting rid of something that's totally fine feels like a waste, but when it comes down to storage, it's just not worth the time or the money to store it, especially if it's a consumable like the things I have in the back of the garage, the cans of paint and different supplies that after 5 years would be expired anyway. Look who I found. He came to also share some wisdom with the people.
Could you believe that everything in this garage is hers?
I did tell them that. You might think, wow, you didn't. I did tell them that, so they know.
Doing this in a short amount of time has definitely put a challenge for us. but I know we can do it. I know she got this outside. I'll help after a while. I just got things I'm doing right now.
The hard part for me is as I'm going through stuff, like the things that would make the biggest difference size wise are the things that if we, like, I can see myself needing them when we get back and they cost the most amount of money to replace. Like my air compressors. Like I know I'm going to use it the second we get back. Do I keep the air compressor or do I get rid of it? I mean, I'm keeping the air compressor, but like, for example, so the hard right now is you saw, I'm putting my stuff in categories and then I'm just going to pick the best of the categories for the things that we need. So far I'm at 10 rolls of tape. So I'm thinking 0 will be good for the end, but that's where I'm at right now.
I hope there's like really good background music while we watch you do this.
Any words of wisdom for anyone else that wants to do the same thing?
Know when you're doing this, know the reason why you're doing it. Know when I'm throwing stuff away, just know the reason I'm doing this so we can go travel. We can travel the world. If that's my why. That's why I'm giving away most of my stuff. I've knocked down my closet to almost nothing. So I know doing that is the reason I'm doing it. It's just so we can get to travel the world together.
Stay focused on the goal, folks. Yeah. All right, everyone say bye, Christian. Bye. Bye.
Glad you don't need help.
I mean, I never said that.
Glad you don't need help.
And then there was one. All right, back to it. Another thing that can be very tricky, but is also very important when it comes to decluttering and downsizing, is to not make the stuff you no longer want someone else's problem. Just because something is in a good condition or you had use for it, but it no longer fits in your home does not mean that someone else wants to bring it into their home. And at a certain point, your friends and family will probably get tired of you asking them to take the different things in your home or offering it to them because more than likely they might not have the space or just don't want it either. And this really comes down to remembering why you're doing this and making sure that you have other options for decluttering and getting rid of your belongings in a sustainable manner that still feels good for you. So maybe things you don't want to throw away or you don't just want to give them to the thrift store, but local buy nothing groups and posting things on Marketplace for free can really make sure that these things go to someone, and that might help you have that feeling on the inside of it's still going to benefit someone and go to someone who will really use it, but I'm not necessarily putting this burden on the people that are close to me to take my stuff just because I no longer want it. This is probably the part of the garage that's the hardest for me to declutter, because for me, this was where it started. So this is some backstory if you want to hear it. When I started flipping furniture, in my apartment. I didn't even have a garage. I was just in my apartment and I had like a 3x5 slab of back patio. And this was pretty much what I used. And I ended up collecting this stuff. And over time, I moved to a different apartment and rented a garage, and then moved to a house and had a garage. And I have been flipping furniture and making videos about my furniture and selling the furniture for years now. And so I know that especially the stuff on like this shelf behind me, this is all practical, useful, well-used stuff that feels wrong to just get rid of. And one thing that's hard when you're decluttering is resisting the urge to assume that other people want your stuff, because most of the stuff is open and used and incredibly dusty. And also, a lot of other people are also going through like a decluttering journey. And so it's been hard for me to not ask my friends and family about every single thing I own. Oh, do you want this? Do you want to take this? Do you want to take this? Because the truth is they don't want your stuff. People don't want your used stuff. And the stuff that they do want is probably the stuff that you're not getting rid of. And that's to everyone asking me for my KitchenAid and my workout equipment. You know who you are. I'm keeping that. So people don't want the stuff you're getting rid of. If they did, you probably wouldn't be getting rid of it yourself. And it's just kind of coming to terms with that. Like this here bin of sandpaper and tack cloths. Now, if I have things in like a neat little collection like this, I do try and give them away, but I try to give them away to people who would want them. So the things that I don't end up keeping, especially from the garage, because I know when we have garage sales, people want like tools and garage stuff, I am gonna post these on either my neighborhood Facebook group or a local buy nothing group, because there is someone who still has a shop that could use like a pack of 10 tack cloths. And I will go through this and, you know, pick out the clean sanding equipment. This is literally a wet sand sponge. Don't know what that was for, but the stuff like this, I can definitely donate. Same with just chemicals, okay? Try not to put chemicals in the trash. Take them to your local, there's like local county disposal sites for batteries and chemicals. You don't want to pollute your water supply because you're the one that has to drink it, or your friends and family, or strangers. No one needs to be poisoned by tainted water. This is the harder part. I'm just gonna get my collections together and hope that I can post it on the Buy Nothing group and that someone will get some good use out of it. Same with all of this paint, okay? If you've ever bought furniture paint, you know this stuff is pricey. It's so hard. Also, the hard part is we aren't leaving for obviously a couple of months, and it's hard to get rid of it now when I know that we still have time, but I also know that I'm busy and I won't be having time to like refinish entire pieces of furniture. If these tips are helping, if you've made it this far in the video, please comment below. This is different than my content, but I think it's necessary. I want to be able to show it to you guys. So show a girl some love. All right, let's get to it. Self-reflection is like the final boss of decluttering, because you're gonna do all of this work to finally clear out your space, whether it's just for a fresh start or because you're downsizing for a move or for future travel. But you wanna make sure you also address the mindset that got you into this position in the first place. The last thing you wanna do is to go back to your old habits that had you, shopping all of the time and buying things you didn't need just to amass a second amount of stuff and have to start this process all over again from the beginning. First things first, this is gonna take longer than a day. And there wasn't a second thing after that. It was just first things first. So I'm just kidding. But now that I see this is gonna take longer, I thought I should go on with the rest of the video, talk about my chatty chats, since I'm not sure if we're gonna get this into viewable condition before I'm done filming. I can say that there are a lot of like hot tips, people will share about decluttering, and it's like, listen to all of them, also listen to none of them. Literally do whatever you want. We've made a little bit more than I thought we would getting rid of our stuff. And I know a lot of people are like, don't sell things that are that you're listing for like less than $10. And honestly, because I'm so used to Marketplace, those $5, $10 items, I can get them up, listed, and out quickly. But really, it's just doing what works for you. And as Christian said earlier, remembering why you're doing it, focusing on the goal, and not letting your attachment to your items keep you from doing the things you really want to do, whether that's travel or move or declutter or downsize. Don't let your attachment to things that maybe shouldn't have a sentimental value keep you stuck where you are. You always want to be making progress and moving forward. And the chaos in this video is overwhelming, but I hope you learned something. I'm going to try and get some clips of the garage as it goes forward. I've already done like the office and some other rooms in the house that I think those videos probably have been shown at some point. And we've been making good progress, but this is one of the harder parts of getting ready for full-time travel, is downsizing and moving your life from home or apartment or wherever into a suitcase, because of course suitcases do not have that much space, and you don't want to be paying for a storage unit for things that you really shouldn't be storing or that you won't care about when you come back. I hope you enjoyed these tips. If you have more questions, or if this made no sense, you want me to try again, I can do a part 2 when I continue going through more of this, but I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching. Catch you guys later. Bye.